Religion. Its primary purpose is and always has been to define evil, to set the world of darkness against the world of light, and to prescribe human moral behavior. The clearer this separation between good and evil is, the more clear-cut the human ethics, and in such a black and white universe, right and wrong are two distinct paths, one leading to heaven, the other to hell. Strong believers in such traditions and practices will always say it is an either-or choice. You can either serve the Lord or the devil, since the Christian God himself claims that he is the light, and thus remains forever detached from his dark brother, the devil, who represents pure evil. With this kind of faith, those who engage in spiritual practices are led to believe that with the right teacher and the right actions, they can transcend to higher levels of awareness, without dealing with their more petty vices and impulses or ugly emotional attachments. But have you ever asked yourself, friend, if there is something more behind this promise that is nicely packaged in love and enlightenment? How come this purified pilgrimage of humility and kindness has not yet cleared our world of evil and deceit? And is there something more behind the deluded idea of enlightenment, something that if ignored enough can lead to unimagined catastrophes? To start exploring these questions, it is enough to look at history and observe how the Christian myth transformed with time, pushing a belief that nothing is greater than man and his deeds, since man is created to mirror the perfection of God, ignoring the fact that light is always followed by darkness, and closing an eye to the other side of its creator, the Holy One, the one without fault, the one that is almighty. Such a belief that minimizes evil in our human condition has reached its peak in the last century, when it was truly confronted by pure evil, by naked injustice, tyranny, slavery and genocidal massacre that first erupted violently in Bolsheviks Russia and Nazi Germany. Facing such events made it clear that evil can no longer be minimized and dismissed from the world by prayer and meditation. Evil has become a determined reality and must be handled and dealt with, since it is here to stay and we need to learn how to deal with it without terrible consequences. Remember, friend, that touching evil or giving in to pure goodness brings with it the possibility to succumb to one of these extremes. Become the man that understands that you no longer bow to anything at all, not even to good, since the so-called good that you cave into will lose its ethical character as soon as you do that and may breed trouble. Every form of addiction is bad, whether the drug is alcohol, morphine or idealism, and you must beware of thinking of good and evil as absolute opposites. Your actions can no longer be driven by the simple view that good is the categorical path, while the so-called evil can be absolutely discarded. Good and evil are no longer so self-evident, and you have to realize that each of them represents a judgment. Moral judgment is always present with every choice that you make, and there is nothing that can spare you from the torment of the consequences of your ethical decisions, not even the so-called God. As harsh as this may sound, friend, you have the freedom and sometimes even the moral obligation in certain circumstances to avoid the known moral good and do what is considered to be evil if your ethical decision requires so. Moments when violently punishing a tyrant or murdering a murderer will be the necessary actions that need to be taken. Actions that are considered outside the idealistic beliefs and conducts that every hardcore religious man embraces and wants to live up to. Understand that being good is sometimes not good enough, and in order to be a whole and complete man you must build the moral courage to accept and know how much good you can do and what crimes you are capable of, without regarding one as real and the other as an illusion. If you want to live a life without self-deception or self-delusion, you will understand that both are elements of your nature and both are designed to come to light in you. It is your duty to become equipped to live with this level of insight about yourself. It is your obligation to understand the core of human nature and the roots of your instincts, so that you will never be in a position in which you stand confused and stupefied before events such as Nazism and Bolshevism, not knowing what is in front of you, let alone what to do against it. When facing such darkness, the myth of pure goodness will become mute, giving you no real answers to the question, where did this evil come from? And the fault will lie with you if you do not develop your abilities to recognize evil. If you will continue to pursue the idea of enlightenment while suppressing any attempt to look into the darkness, believing that ignoring what is already there will make it go away. Remember, friend, that religion cannot answer the question of the origins of evil within you, and even a suggestion of a possible redemption of the darkness that you possess will be seen as an abandonment of faith. I dare you to be bold enough and not stand empty-handed and perplexed when facing evil, having the expectation that a myth will come to your aid and show you the light. Be the man that refuses to cut out and dismiss half of his soul, and dare to accept that darkness and evil are a part of you, just like light and goodness. Splitting the world into the realm of light and the realm of darkness is a path for the weak, for the ones deluded by the enthusiasm of divine light, for the ones fearful to look into their own darkness. Choosing such a path will have severe implications on a moral level, since it will lead you to strive to be perfect and pure, and defining the right idea of what absolute perfection and purity mean will lead you down a path of destruction on which you will need to suppress and eventually try to eliminate every thought, action or element that will not fit that definition. Become the man that is bold enough not to deny the reality of evil, and humble enough to go beyond any faith or spiritual dogma and accept the dark part of your existence. Assess your ignorance and do not become blinded by the full realities of evil, since the miseries that you will enforce on your quest of eliminating it can be much worse than the evil you want to eradicate. There are no infallible doctrines, and the most honest attempt that you will ever make to understand the truth about evil will be to not separate it from goodness, since both evil and good are part of the same entity. When challenged with the problem of wickedness and malevolence, will you be the man who blindly accepts a spiritual dogma that clearly separates good and evil? Or will you take responsibility by recognizing and accepting the parts of yourself that are evil and dark? One path will lead you to indoctrination, the other to completeness. The choice is yours to make.